read 21 books in the month of January. I'm gonna drop all of these. Don't drop them. Don't drop. Oh, I dropped one. It's okay. Hello, book lovers. Welcome to the first ever video on this channel in Speech Reads. I am so excited for y'all to be here and for me to be here. I've wanted to make this channel for such a long time, and I'm so excited to actually be doing it. Very first video is going to be my January reading wrap-up, where I read 21 books this month, which is absolutely insane. I read books like it was my job. So let's get to it. Start off the month by reading Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I'm not really going to give you much of a description on this book because I feel like almost everyone has been reading this. It is a fantasy novel about becoming a dragon rider. I gave this book 5 stars. I thought it was fantastic. I love the world building in it. If you are into fantasy at all or wanting to get into fantasy, I think this is a great place to start. I then went and read, of course, book number 2 of this series. I gave this one 4 stars, mostly because of the pacing. I really enjoyed it. I just felt like it was a little bit slow in some areas. I know a lot of people complain about the dialogue between Xander and Violet. I didn't mind it that much. I just felt like we had a lot of world building going on in this book compared to the first one, which makes sense, it's expanding, but I really did enjoy it. 4 stars. I think you can guess what the next book I read was. I read Onyx Storm. I gave this one also 4 stars. I thought the pacing of this one was better than book 2. I really enjoyed it. I love Rebecca's endings. I think that is one of my favorite things as her as an author. I think that she always leaves us on a great cliffhanger. I love the world that she's building. Again, it keeps expanding. I think you can get a little bit lost in it at times, but that's fantasy. So again, I would recommend this book for someone that's wanting to get into fantasy. I then finally finished out the ACOTAR series with A Court of Silver Flame. I gave this book a 3-star, and honestly, I think it's now a 3.5 in my mind, but Goodreads doesn't let us do half ratings. Goodreads, please work on that. This book follows Nesta's journey of healing and her romance with Cassian. I did enjoy it. Felt like the pacing was slow. We got a bunch of new characters, which made me miss the original characters from the first 4 books that we've had. I just love Rhysand and Farah's relationship. I wanted to see more of that. However, I feel like as more books come out, the next book we're going to get is going to be Elaine. That is my guess. I think the rating for this book will go up. But at the moment, it is a 3.5. I really enjoyed it. It was good. I then read what might be my new favorite sci-fi series. I read the first 2 books of Red Rising. This is book 1. Holy cow. This book is so incredibly well written. It follows the main character, Darrow, who, it says it on the back of the book, so I don't mind telling you, he loses his wife and he finds out that he is a slave to the ruling class, and he gets inducted into a terrorist organization that is trying to place him in with the ruling class. This is giving very much Hunger Games, but in space. I would pick this up. I then read The Golden Sun, which is book 2 of this. Again, the writing in this is absolutely incredible. The ending, I had to sit and process it just in silence for a while. I cannot wait to read the rest of the books in this series. If you are a fan of sci-fi or looking for a good way to get into sci-fi, I would suggest this series. Then switched gears and read mostly romance for the rest of the month. Read The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez, and I picked up this book in October. I read the first 2 chapters of it and then I put it down. I don't remember why I put it down, but I'm really glad I went back to it. I really enjoyed this book. This book got 4 stars for me. It is very different than her A Part of Your World series, which I think bothers a lot of people, but again, Abby is just so funny in her writing. I really loved the rom-comminess of this book. This is dual POV, if you are into that. This does take place in California. It is not her normal Midwestern romantic book, but I did really enjoy their romance. If you like Abby's writing, just give this a chance, get through the first few chapters, and I think you will really enjoy this. Continuing on with this series, I read the Happily Ever After playlist, and this follows Sloane and Jason. This is also a dual POV, and this one is very much about learning how to love again after tragedy. I'm not going to too much on that because that's part of book 1, so I don't want to give any spoilers, but just such a cute book. It made me giggly and happy, and Abby is just a great writer. Now this trilogy, we then have Life's Too Short, which is the closest to her A Part of Your World series. You are going to have a little bit of character crossover, very minor, from those books. So this one, I feel like Abby, we're really starting to see the writing from the A Part of Your World series come out. This is also dual POV. This book is hilarious. I don't know why But Abby, it's chapter 19 always for me, just has me cackling on the ground. The 5-star read for me. So out of the series, this was my favorite book. This one had me crying from laughing so hard. This one has a little crusty dog in it as well. So cute. Love Abby's writing. Anything she writes, I'm gonna pick up. So this was a 5-star read for me this month. I then went on an absolute bender of Sarah Adams' books. Started off by reading The Match by her. This was a really cute, fast read. This is not one of my favorite books by her. I gave this a 3-star review. I think it was very cute. Again, we have a dual POV. This one has a service dog in it and a grouchy dad with a daughter. I think that this book would be great if you are traveling and you want something that's going to be quick. It is very cute, very southern, and it's yellow. It's a very summery looking read. If you are needing a palate cleanser from some heavier books, this might be just right up your alley. Following that, I read The Enemy, which is book 2 in this little universe series that she has. This is supposed to be enemies to lovers. It is more of grouchy nemesis. We both liked each other, but no one would admit it to lovers. It's cute. It's a quick read. I gave it 3 stars. He's a chef. She owns a donut shop. It's one of those things though where you're kind of irritated, where it's like, how could you not tell that you liked each other? So if you were wanting true enemies to lovers, this didn't really do it for me with that. Again, if you were needing a palate cleanser, you don't think that The Match was enough of that for you, this would be a great one to follow it up. I then read When in Rome by Sarah Adams. Again, I gave this book a 4.5 star. If you are loving the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce romance, this might be right up your alley. It was giving all of those feelings. It is about a pop star named Ray Rose who has to get out of Nashville, and she ends up getting stuck in this small town. There is a grumpy pie shop owner. If you want Taylor Swift Hallmark, then read this. Then went to my local library, got book 2, Practice Makes Perfect. Sarah Adams loves to do series where like all the siblings find love. This is the guy from the first book's sister. Practice Makes Perfect. We follow Annie, who is a flower shop owner, and she is just so sweet and adorable, and she is wanting to break out of that vibe of always being safe, and she wants to fall in love and find a husband, and she's having a really hard time because she's an introvert. And then in walks Ray Rose's bodyguard, and he is so cute, and he is got tattoos, and he is just a bad boy. His name is Will Griffin, and this is also, both this and When in Rome were both dual POV. I gave this one a 4-star review. I thought it was so sweet. I love their dynamic. I love how much he loves her and he's trying not to hurt her. I love a good bad boy that has a sweetheart and he's just trying to protect people from himself. That is what this book is giving. So maybe 4.5 stars, but I really loved it. Beg, Borrow, Steal by Sarah Adams is the 3rd sibling, Emily Walker. This is also supposed to be enemies to lovers. This one I like a lot more than The Enemy. For this, I still think it's more of grouchy nemesis. There. I feel like this is more grouchy nemesis. I still feel like this is more grouchy nemesis to lovers than true enemies to lovers, but I think their dynamic is absolutely adorable. Jax, the love interest in this book, he is such a cute little hipster. This deals with toxic family, with healing. I think this one goes a little bit more in depth than some of Sarah Adams' other books that I've read by her, but really, really enjoyed this. This was also a 4-star read for me. I read Fellowship of the Ring for the first time this month. This was my first Tolkien book ever, and I grew up loving the Lord of the Rings movies, so I think I went into this with very high expectations, and I gave this a 2-star review. I was not a huge fan of Tolkien's writing. He is an incredible world builder, and I can see why the movies are as amazing as they are. However, if I had to read one more description of a tree or hear a song from someone, I think I was going to throw my Kindle across the room. But let me know in the comments if you think I should try any of his other books. If you have a favorite, I'm willing to give Tolkien another chance, but for me, it was a crawl to try to finish this book. I then read Outlander. I did like this book. I gave it a 3-star review. It was very slow on the pacing for me. It was very descriptive, which makes sense. It is a historical romance. I think if you are really into the Highland clearings and Scottish history, you should give this series a try. For me, I don't think I'm going to be continuing with the series. It was just a little bit too slow for my taste. Hi, Gracie. I'm going to come up here. This is Gracie. I know. Don't lick my face, please. Thank you. I read Lynn Painter's Nothing Like the Movies, and I gave this a 3-star review, which really surprised me because I was expecting to love this book because I loved the first one better than the movies. I think Wes and Liz's romance and the fake dating trope that they had, so cute in the first book. And I really like Lynn Painter's writing just in general, but this one was very slow to me. And the constant "can I trust you" kind of dialogue that was going on of Wes trying to get her back and just hearing what he went through and all of the misunderstandings that they had. It was just really hard for me to get into this book and to stay motivated to keep reading it. However, if you really love the first book, this is worth reading just to hear what happened to them in college. I think this is very much a college coming of age book. I just wasn't really mentally in the space for that. I read 1984 and I gave this 4 stars. I think that this book is fantastic. Enjoyable might be a stretch. It is true dystopian literature. I didn't realize how much of this book was part of our vocabulary when we are talking about technology and how much power the government has, like the phrase "Big Brother is watching" or thought police, different things like that. I would really recommend, I think everyone should read this book just to become a well-read person. It took me an afternoon, not that long. It is creepy. I did want to put it in the freezer a few times, if I'm going to be honest, but this book is a masterpiece. I then read You Belong With Me. I gave this book 3 stars. If I'm being completely honest, when I picked up this book, I did not realize that it was a second book in the series, so my rating is probably based on not having the buy-in with our 2 main characters, Edie and Elliot Owen, like I should have if I had read the first book first. But I was not rooting for them to get together at the end, or stay together in this case. This book very much had Notting Hill vibes, which I love Notting Hill, the movie, but I feel like this book is focusing more on what their relationship issues are after the happily ever after situation. I should have read the first book first, but as it stands at the moment, the writing was really good. If you are a fan of Notting Hill, read this. 3 stars. I read the Offside and Shutout this month because they are both on Kindle Unlimited. I am not a fan of hockey romance, and that is what this made me realize. Or really, I guess, college hockey romance. I don't mind professional level hockey romance. It's just felt like college angsty dating issues, and I don't know, I feel like this might be in the same category as Nothing Like the Movies. I don't think I'm mentally in that space. I would give you an overview, but these books, I think my brain just dumped it as soon as it was done. It's hockey romance. I don't like you. Let's date kind of thing. I get Offside a 2-star and Shutout a 1-star, which that is me not liking hockey, not necessarily a good representation of this in its genre. So I don't know. Read if you like hockey romances. I think I'm just not gonna rate hockey romances. Alright guys, those are the 21 books that I read this month. If you like what you saw here and you would like more book related content, hit that like button, subscribe if you are not already, and follow me on Instagram under In Speech Reads. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.